A new interview with convicted swindler Bernie Madoff, his first since his arrest. NBC's Mike Davey is here with details. Mike, good morning to you.
Good morning, Meredith. How are you? You know, by definition, the world's biggest Ponzi schemer would also have to be one of the biggest liars, so it's hard to know just how credible Madoff's statements are. But what he's saying in interviews and emails published in the New York Times is what many suspect. Yeah, he was a monumental crook, but a lot of his biggest investors had to know it. In his first interview since he went to prison in 2009, Bernard Madoff tells the New York Times banks and hedge funds were complicit and guilty of willful blindness as they continued doing business with him without asking questions. Madoff did not name the banks and hedge funds, but told the Times they had to know. But the attitude was sort of, if you're doing something wrong, we don't want to know. Madoff says in prison interviews last summer he helped Irving Picard, the trustee appointed to help recover some $20 billion in phony profits for the scam's innocent victims. Madoff said he gave Picard, quote, information I knew would be instrumental in recovering assets from those people complicit in the mess I put myself into. Picard has filed lawsuits on behalf of Madoff victims seeking hundreds of millions in allegedly illicit profits from Madoff's longtime bank, J.P. Morgan Chase, and even from the owners of the New York Mets. Both denied ever suspecting fraud.
Even if you don't know specifically that if there are signs that should have led you to know and you ignored them, then you are held liable.
Madoff's scheme victimized thousands of non-institutional investors, including mentors, friends, and total strangers still hoping to recover something. Even before his trial and before he went to prison, he'd become a pariah.
What's been lost in this conversation when we're talking about tens of millions, hundreds of millions, and billions of dollars are the smaller investors who had a fraction of that amount invested and now have nothing left.
So far, only Madoff has gone to prison, and only he, his accountant, and 5 of his employees have been charged with crimes.
If he's willing to talk now, maybe he's willing to spend more time with people. So we could find out when exactly the fraud began, what prompted him to start the fraud. You know, what was his mindset when he started lying to people?
In the New York Times article, Madoff said he told prosecutors he would give them information to help recover assets only, but refused to help provide them with criminal evidence. Now, in the interviews, Madoff insisted that his family knew nothing about his ongoing fraud. You'll recall that his son Mark committed suicide over the scandal back in December. Meredith?
I know he was asked why he didn't attend Mark's funeral. What was his answer?
2 parties said there were concerns, public safety concerns, and that the prison ultimately in Butner, North Carolina, wouldn't permit him to go.
Okay, Mike Davey, thank you very much.